Yeah, 20 in Metallica. And now, look at me, I'm 60 in Megadeth. And I'm a Grammy winner, I'm a New York Times best-selling author.
You know, you see people, they think that he's like red, he's got a goatee and a ponytail and stuff like that. He doesn't. He's very beautiful.
It has been over 40 years since Dave Mustaine was abruptly kicked out of Metallica, the very band he helped shape from the ground up. Since that fateful moment, Mustaine has shared bits and pieces of his side.
After it was said and done, I didn't really give it any thought, and then lately, I started really getting into trying to better myself, really digging into my past and working with counselors and therapists and stuff to really try and...
But the full story remained a mystery, until now. In a stunning turn of events, Mustaine has finally broken his silence, and what he revealed has left many in total disbelief. What did Mustaine reveal? And why is it creating such a stir? Join us as we dive deep into the shocking revelations and uncover the story behind one of rock's most dramatic exits. What Dave Mustaine revealed. Recently, Dave Mustaine has revealed why he left Metallica, shedding new light on the fateful event that led to one of the most dramatic exits in rock history. In one of his most candid interviews, he recalled the shock of being woken up and told he was no longer part of the band. With no prior warning, he was handed a one-way bus ticket from New York to Los Angeles, a brutal and unexpected exile that left him seething with rage. But he didn't stop there. Mustaine made a comment no one had expected. As he stared out the window during the long journey home, he vowed to get revenge, not through violence, but by forming a band that would be faster, heavier, and more technical than Metallica. That band, of course, became Megadeth. But this wasn't the only time Mustaine opened up about the split. In another interview, he confessed that what hurt him the most wasn't just being fired. It was how the band had already decided his fate without his knowledge. While Hetfield, Ulrich, and bassist Cliff Burton had been quietly making arrangements to replace him with Kirk Hammett, Mustaine was left in the dark. Dave expressed regret, wishing they had simply told him he had a problem and needed to fix it. Instead, the decision had already been made, and by the time he found out, he was already on the bus, with nothing but regret and anger to keep him company. As if that weren't enough, Mustaine later revealed that his frustration deepened when he realized that Metallica had used some of his riffs in their debut album, Kill 'Em All, even after he had been dismissed. Songs like The Four Horsemen, which he originally wrote as Mechanics, still bore his signature style. Mustaine had admitted that he heard his music on their record, and it felt like someone had stolen his baby. Though he eventually received songwriting credits, the pain of having his work taken without his input remained a wound that never fully healed. Yet, there is another unexpected twist to the story. Mustaine admitted that part of him longed for reconciliation. There were moments when he wanted to be on good terms with Metallica, but the bitterness always resurfaced. In a particularly emotional moment, he once revealed that he cried when he was first fired. Not because he lost the band, but because he lost his best friends. According to him, he was just a kid who wanted to belong. However, as time passed, Mustaine found himself reliving the past. In yet another interview, he recalled how humiliating it was to see Metallica soar to stardom while he was still struggling to get Megadeth off the ground. Then came the most unexpected development of all. In 2010, Mustaine stood on stage with Metallica at the Big Four concert, performing together for the first time in decades. It was an unexpected moment that felt like the end of a conflict and a silent agreement. Though old wounds still linger, Mustaine has since softened his stance, even admitting that if he could do it all over again, he might have handled things differently. But before all of this, long before the moment on stage with Metallica, Mustaine's journey had already started shaping his career in ways that no one could have guessed. His path to success wasn't easy or immediate. It took hard work, determination, and learning along the way. From a young age, Mustaine was drawn to the guitar, practicing and developing his skills in the early music scene of Los Angeles. His natural talent didn't go unnoticed. and it eventually led to him joining Metallica. However, his story didn't start with Metallica. Mustaine was already working hard to make a name for himself in music before he ever joined the band. Let's find out how it all started. Dave Mustaine's career before Metallica. Dave Mustaine was born on September 13, 1961 in La Mesa, California. His childhood was tough because his family moved a lot after his parents divorced. He didn't have a stable home, so he became tough and independent. Music was his escape, and he loved listening to bands like Led Zeppelin, Judas Priest, and UFO. Their loud guitars and powerful songs inspired him and made him want to play music. As he grew older, Mustaine took music seriously and started a band called Panic in the late 1970s. It was his first real band, and they played in small clubs. Sadly, things ended in tragedy when some of his bandmates died in a car accident. This was a huge loss for him, but instead of giving up, he became even more determined to make it in music. During this time, Mustaine had trouble making money. To survive, he started selling hard substances. Many of his customers were musicians, including Ron McGovney, who later became Metallica's first bassist. This connection led him to an opportunity that would change his life forever. In late 1981, James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich were looking for a lead guitarist for their new band, Metallica. They placed an ad in a local newspaper called The Recycler. Mustaine saw the ad and decided to try out. When he arrived for the audition, the band was immediately impressed, not because they heard him play, but because he had expensive guitar equipment. Without even hearing a single note, they welcomed him into the band. Once he joined, Mustaine played a big role in shaping Metallica's sound. He played lead guitar and wrote many of their early songs. His fast and aggressive playing style helped create the band's signature thrash metal sound. He worked on some of their most important early songs and brought solos that made them stand out. But something happened during Mustaine's time with Metallica. Mustaine helped write several songs that ended up on their first album, Kill 'Em All. These included The Four Horsemen, which was originally his song called Mechanics, Jump in the Fire, Phantom Lord, and Metal Militia. These songs showed his aggressive and raw style, which became a big part of Metallica's identity. In 1982, Metallica started playing live shows, and Mustaine was part of some of their earliest performances. They played at famous clubs like Whiskey A Go Go, the Troubadour, and the Stone. These shows helped them build a fan base and made people take notice of their music. However, there were problems within the band. Mustaine had a serious drinking problem, and his temper caused a lot of fights. He clashed with James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich many times, and things got worse as time went on. His behavior was becoming a problem for the band. By April 1983, Metallica had enough. They were in New York, getting ready to record their first album when they decided to fire Mustaine. One morning, without warning, they woke him up and told him he was out of the band. They gave him a bus ticket back to California and sent him away. That same day, they replaced him with Kirk Hammett. Mustaine was shocked and angry. He felt betrayed and thought the band had treated him unfairly. Even though Mustaine was no longer in the band, his work remained. Many of the songs he helped write were still used. His riffs and ideas stayed in the band's music even after he was gone. His influence didn't stop there. Even on Metallica's second album, Ride the Lightning, some of Mustaine's riffs were still used. Songs like Call of Cthulhu and Ride the Lightning had parts that he had originally written. This showed that his impact on the band lasted longer than his time with them. Mustaine played a big role in shaping Metallica's sound and helping define thrash metal. His fast guitar playing and heavy riffs became a major influence in the metal world. Many bands copied his style, and he helped push the genre forward. Even though he was fired, Metallica later admitted how important he was to their early music. James Hetfield said in interviews that Mustaine had contributed a lot to their early sound. Even though they had problems, they couldn't ignore how much he had helped the band in its early days. After being kicked out of Metallica, Mustaine became obsessed with proving them wrong. He wanted to create a band that was even better than Metallica. This led him to form Megadeth, which became one of the biggest metal bands in the world. His anger and determination pushed him to work harder than ever. Looking back, Mustaine's time with Metallica was full of ups and downs. He helped shape their music, but his personal problems led to his downfall. Even after leaving, his influence remained. So what did Mustaine's career look like after leaving Metallica? Keep watching to find out. Dave Mustaine's career after Metallica. After Dave Mustaine's abrupt firing from Metallica in April 1983, Dave Mustaine found himself filled with determination. Instead of allowing his dismissal to define him, he set out to form a band that would be heavier and faster than anything before. This drive led him to create Megadeth later that year. Alongside bassist David Ellefson, he began crafting a sound that would rival his former band, proving that his musical vision was far from over. With his newfound ambition, Mustaine wasted no time in recording Megadeth's first demo in 1984. He cycled through numerous musicians, searching for the right lineup that could bring his vision to life. Despite the instability, the demo gained attention, leading to a deal with Combat Records. It was the first step toward putting Megadeth on the map, but the band's lineup remained weak. Determined to make an impact, Mustaine and his band released Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good in 1985. The album introduced the world to Megadeth's aggressive, technical style of thrash metal. One standout track, Mechanics, was a reworked version of the Four Horsemen, a song he had originally written with Metallica. His decision to speed up the tempo was a deliberate move, one that signaled he was out to surpass his former bandmates. Following the underground success of their debut, Megadeth caught the attention of Capitol Records. Their second album, Peace Sells, But Who's Buying, was released in 1986 and catapulted the band into mainstream recognition. The title track, Peace Sells, became a defining anthem, with its unmistakable bass line later used for years as the opening theme for MTV News. By this point, Megadeth had solidified itself as a major force in metal. Despite his success, something affected him. While his career was taking off, Mustaine was still struggling with drug and alcohol addiction, an issue that affected him for over a decade.
You know, something just happened where I was just yearning for a difference in my life. I felt really empty, you know, and the drugs weren't doing it, the alcohol wasn't doing it. You know, I mean, it would make you feel good for a little while.
His substance abuse led to erratic behavior and tensions within the band. Over the years, he entered rehab a staggering 15 times before finally achieving sobriety. It was a constant battle, one that nearly destroyed him but ultimately shaped him. Despite his struggles, 1990 saw Megadeth reach new heights with the release of Rust in Peace. This album, featuring lead guitarist Marty Friedman, pushed the boundaries of thrash metal with its technical precision and intricate compositions. Songs like Holy Wars, The Punishment Due and Hangar 18 became instant classics, solidifying Megadeth's place among the genre's elite. Then, in 1992, Megadeth's mainstream breakthrough arrived with Countdown to Extinction. The album debuted at number 1, 2 on the Billboard 200, marking their highest chart position yet. Tracks like Symphony of Destruction and Sweating Bullets introduced the band to a wider audience, proving that Megadeth could achieve commercial success without sacrificing their edge. As their influence grew, so did their recognition in the music industry. Megadeth received numerous Grammy nominations throughout the 1990s and beyond, though it wasn't until 2017 that they finally won the award for Dystopia. It was a long-awaited achievement for Mustaine, who had spent years being overlooked despite his contributions to metal. While maintaining their thrash roots, Megadeth began experimenting with more melodic elements in the mid to late 1990s. Albums like Euthanasia and Cryptic Writings leaned into radio-friendly rock influences, with songs like Trust becoming mainstream hits. Some fans welcomed the evolution, while others longed for the ferocity of their earlier work. In 2002, disaster struck when Mustaine suffered severe nerve damage in his left arm, leaving him unable to play guitar. Faced with this unexpected crisis, he made the difficult decision to disband Megadeth. Over the next 2 years, he underwent intensive physical therapy, determined to regain his abilities. His future in music seemed uncertain, but he refused to accept defeat. By 2004, Mustaine made a triumphant return with The System Has Failed, originally intended as a solo effort, but eventually revived under the Megadeth name. The album proved that he could still deliver powerful music despite the setbacks he had faced. Years later, a historic moment arrived in 2010 to 2011 when Megadeth joined Metallica, Slayer, and Anthrax for the Big Four concerts. These shows were monumental, bringing together the founding fathers of thrash metal on one stage. In an unexpected twist, Mustaine even joined Metallica on stage for a performance of Am I Evil, symbolizing a long-awaited moment of reconciliation. Then, in 2016, Dystopia revitalized Megadeth's career once again. The album not only reaffirmed their place in modern metal, but also got them their first Grammy. It was an achievement that Mustaine had waited decades to achieve. Beyond music, Mustaine underwent a personal transformation in the early 2000s when he became a born-again Christian. His faith influenced his lifestyle and artistic decisions, leading him to distance himself from bands and themes he felt conflicted with. His lyrics took on a more introspective tone, reflecting his evolving beliefs. At the same time, his outspoken political views became a defining aspect of his public persona. Mustaine was never one to shy away from controversy, often making headlines for his opinions on government policies and conspiracy theories. His statements sparked debate, earning both support and criticism. Outside of music, he ventured into business with Mustaine Vineyards, producing his own line of fine wines. Additionally, he launched Dave Mustaine Coffee, catering to fans with specialty blends. His entrepreneurial pursuits reflected his desire to expand beyond the realm of metal. In addition to writing music, Mustaine shared his life story through his autobiographies, Mustaine, A Heavy Metal, Memoir, and Rust in Peace. The inside story offered fans the opportunity to look at his journey, from his struggles to his triumphs. His career extended into television and film as well. Over the years, he made guest appearances on various shows and even lent his voice to animated series like Duck Dodgers and Metalocalypse. But in 2019, another challenge arose when Mustaine was diagnosed with throat cancer. Faced with a life-threatening illness, he underwent intense treatment while continuing to work on music. By 2020, he announced he was cancer-free.
You have the cancer. I'm 100% clean, and it's going to be 3 years. I think in October. I think it's the 19th.
Defying the odds once again. Through it all, Megadeth remained a dominant force. In 2022, they released The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, proving that even after 4 decades, Mustaine had no intention of slowing down. Today, he continues to tour, making his legacy as one of metal's greatest icons. What do you think about Dave Mustaine's musical career? Was his dismissal from Metallica his fault? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, click on the next video on your screen. You won't want to miss it.